We've got a host of Tennessee athletes, and so 4 Mississippi State athletes, 3 Tennessee athletes in the first heat. Brandon Miller is the only athlete outside of those 2 teams here in this first heat. But we've got some quality competition here. We'll move from Jordan Ware now out in lane 7. We'll go down clear down to the inside lane. They make that inside lane on these fast turns of 200 meters. Javonte Harding from Tennessee, and we're certainly familiar from him, seeing him run indoors. He had a bounce back. He had to bounce back after a bad indoor season last year in 2023 after winning the NCAA Indoor Championships in 2022. He has not had a really great outdoor season, but he is healthy, and we'll see if he can make another bounce back into championship season like he did last year.
One of those athletes who followed their coach down here from North Carolina A&T. There are the lane assignments, flush with Volunteers and Bulldogs.
Check a lane 6 there. That's Big EB, Emmanuel Bynum. His specialty is the 400 meters, but he also runs 200 very well. And we didn't see Javonte Harding. That was actually Devontae Howell in lane 4 that the camera was on. Harding on the inside. There you see him on the far left. Always wears, looks like high socks, but those are just calf wraps. But he's gone 20:48 this season.
That's Howell in lane 4. So it's tough to just know that you have to be the heat winner to advance for sure. Indoors is all on time. So this is a little bit of an improvement for these sprinters. They'll get that wind as soon as they come off the curve. And early on it is Devontae Howell out well in lane 4, but here comes Jordan Ware, and now Javonte Harding just explodes off the turn, getting that tailwind. But it is Jordan Ware who's going to win the heat. Unofficially 20:59, corrected to 20:62. So that wind is taking its toll as they run into it on the turn. Ware wins the heat with Harding second, Emmanuel Bynum third.
Well, a little bit different setup here at the University of Florida. They're running away from us in the opposite direction, and the wind usually blows down that back straight in the late afternoons. But there you see Jordan Ware in lane 7. You see the tall figure on the outside in the all-dark uniform really open up his stride in the last 70, 80 meters. You see what makes him such a high-class recruit coming out of high school there. You see him third from the left. Javonte Harding on the inside. He got a really good start. He ran his first 140 meters very strongly, but it was the long-legged Jordan Ware out of Memphis, Tennessee, now competing as a Bulldog, winning that heat. 20:62, good start for him.
And there are 5 heats remaining, so Harding and Bynum have really got to take a look and see what happens with the times going forward. There's only 3 advancers on time available as a result of having 6 preliminary heats. So we move along to heat number 2, featuring Robert Gregory, the senior from Florida, who gets the outside lane draw. He will be in lane 8 in this second heat. He is the defending champion, running 2012 last year.
Well, he really came to our attention at that SEC championship meet. It was late in the evenings. It looked like a lot of people were running out of gas, but Robert Gregory just managed it better than everybody else. He still looked like he had strength at the end of a long SEC championships there at LSU. But Robert Gregory, this is the Florida makeup of their sprinters. Guys who can run the 200 meters. They can go up to the 400 meters, but they also can put all these guys on the 4x1 as well. But there he is. There's Dario Matau. He's a newcomer for Auburn, just a junior. The transfer from Lenore Rhine, 3-time Division II runner-up. up there, but he's out of South Africa. I talked to Ken Harnden and Leroy Burrell, and I said, you guys ever recruit any Americans? And he said, you know how hard it is to get Americans here at Auburn? There's so many other schools for them to choose from, and so they go to the junior colleges and find a lot of these foreign guys. But Matau is an outstanding runner, a junior, just 22 years old. He has gone 20.63. He did that on this track earlier this season.
So after one heat, the bubble is 20.88. We'll keep an eye on that as it's for certain to come down. This is the way they run the 200 meters at UCLA, and always have, because of the way the wind is there. So I'm used to this.
Set.
Oh, and that looks like a jump by Dylan Bedell, the junior from LSU. And unless there is some reasonable reason, he will not be contesting this heat. He will get a red card, and we will be down to 5 sprinters in this second preliminary heat.
Well, the officials will get together. That clearly looked like a false start, and really the only way that he wouldn't be called for a false start is if there was some external noise happening down on that end of the track that really caused him to jump. But that was so blatant. Nobody else moved. He did. There's the red card.
So Bedell is out of the heat, which leaves 5 remaining.
Try it again. On your mark.
Not something you see very often anymore, as the rule from high school all the way through to the Olympics and World Championships and everything else is one false start and you are eliminated. Except in the multi-events where you can have one false start.
Set.
Fair start the second time around. And Jaden Reed of LSU running a fine turn. But now here comes Robert Gregory. Matau trying to get into the mix. It is Gregory on the outside in the black of Florida. He is going to win the heat and advance to Saturday's final. Followed by Jaden Reed from the Cayman Islands, the freshman from LSU. 20.29 for Gregory. We're not getting any wind readings up here. So a fine preliminary run by Robert Gregory, the defending champion. Shows everybody how it's done.
Well, Jaden Reed from LSU there in the purple uniform on the inside. He got a fantastic start. Just a 19-year-old from the Cayman Islands. Look at him shuffle around the turn, that first 100. And I think having a fast starter like that in this race, there you see Robert Gregory on the outside. He was able to respond with about 80 meters to go. But Robert Gregory is one of those guys, the coaches talk about him. He's such a hard-working guy. He leads by example each and every day in these really tough workouts in this tough training group. I love a guy like him in your group, though. 20.29 outstanding time here in the first round, but I guarantee you he knows every lane on that back straight and has trained in every single one of them over the last couple of seasons that he's spent here in the swamp.
Okay, so get this about that 20.29. It's the fastest qualifier in meet history. And it is also, at least according to what we're getting, wind 1.5 meters headwind. And he runs 20.29. Wow. Okay. He is the defending champion, and he did just run the fastest qualifier in meet history. So we move along to heat number 3. And Lance Lang of Arkansas, he will start for the Razorbacks in lane number 4.
So Doug Case, sprint coach at Arkansas, said he was going to be sad to see Lance Lang go because his final season the Swiss Army sprinter who can do everything. Kind of joked about that. I'm talking to Doug Case, and he said he's a great guy to have around practice. He's motivational to a lot of the other athletes, but he can just do anything. You can put him anywhere in your lineup, and he gives you the best that he absolutely has there. So Lance Lang in his final SEC championship. There you see Nick Harbor on the outside lane 7. They got to put this guy on lane 7. There's no room for him. Recruited out of high school to play tight end. Now he's a wide receiver for the South Carolina Gamecocks, only 18 years old. We saw him run indoors a little bit. 6'5", 242 pounds out of Washington, D.C., but he ran 20.68 at the Tom Jones Invitational. I love it. Football player coming down and running some track and field.
3 Razorbacks in this heat, and Nick Harbor definitely not a high jumper at 6'5", 242. By the way, the bubble, 2079 after 2 heats. And that is Lance Lang, who is getting it done in this turn. He just blew the doors off of his sophomore Trevon Williams in lane number 3. It is Lance Lang who's going to try to hold off Nick Harbor, and Lang is going to win the heat and automatically qualify through to Saturday's final. 2034 officially for Lang, and that was a 0.3 meter tailwind. So the wind is switching around in that backstretch, and Gregory just happened to get it in the face and still ran 20.29. But a fine run by the Swiss Army sprinter in lane number 4, Lance Lang.
Well, you see the experience with Lance Lang. He really does a good job pushing hard in the first 50, 60 meters. He runs that turn beautifully. And Coach Bucknam said, I know Lance Lang is running well when he tilts his head. He gets that little head tilt. We've seen it in the indoor championships. Then he stands up nice and tall, made Nick Harbor really make a run at him on that back straight. But you could see it took Nick Harbor a little bit of time in that first 100 meters to really open up that stride. Absolutely amazing that a guy that size can run that fast in the 200 meters. But a solid start to the final SEC championships for Lance Lang.
That's a season best for Lang, and also an automatic qualifier into the finals and the number 9 time in the NCAAs this year. Nice timing for the Arkansas senior as we move along to heat number 4 of 6. The bubble at 2075, slowly but surely going down. And this heat featuring on the outside in lane 9, Makanakesha Sharamba of Zimbabwe and Auburn. He will be out in lane number 9. He has a transfer from Carson Newman. So like you were saying, Leroy is trying to get him from wherever he possibly can.
Well, we expected some of the other Auburn runners to get through to the finals in the indoor championships, and Sharamba was one of the only Auburn sprinters. He got 8th in that final, but it was amazing because he had only come in at the break and hadn't spent a lot of time with the Auburn Tigers. But there's DeMarcus Fleming, and this is the guy, SEC champion, NCAA champ. That 4x100 meter relay was on point last year, and I think he's the guy who really makes that relay go. He's outspoken. Said last year they ran with a chip on their shoulder. He knows everybody's going to be chasing them. Here's an opportunity for him to make good in an individual event. He's gone 20-50. He did that here at the Tom Jones Invitational. We're going to mention that meet a lot because so many great times came earlier this spring on this track.
On your mark.
So looking over the flag, it looks like they might have a tailwind when they come down the back stretch. DeMarcus Fleming in 6th, the senior from LSU. Charamba of Auburn, the junior, out in lane number 9, left on your screen. If you're not the heat winner, you need to get under 2075 so far. You might want to try to run faster than that even to make sure.
Set.
Denarian Ard of Mississippi State is out well. Now here comes Charamba out on the outside, and on the inside to Marcus Fleming, or in the middle of the track, I should say. And also Salim Epps but it is going to be Chiramba out in lane number 9 of Auburn, winning the heat and automatically qualifying. 2020 the flash time. It corrects to 2017 with just a .2 tailwind. You can't even feel it. So that now becomes the fastest qualifier run in the 200 meters. And I can see by the times this bubble is going to come down significantly.
Well, let's take a look on the outside. The tall figure on the outside, Chiramba of Zimbabwe. Just a junior, transferred over from Carson Newman, Division II school, but look, he just makes it look easy on the outside. When you got great coaches like Ken Harden and certainly Leroy Burrell, you know you're going to get coached up there at Auburn, but we just talk about, you know, all their kids are junior college transfers and they are making it pay off. But a nice tall runner there, and these times, 2017, goodness.
Number 2 time in the NCAAs this year, a new conference best in a qualifier, 2017 for the junior from Auburn. Makanakashi Chiramba of Zimbabwe has just thrown in an interesting little nugget in the 200 meters that Robert Gregory may need to take notice of, and the bubble goes way down to 20:51 with 2 heats remaining. All right, heat number 5, and on the inside in lane 4, the Kentucky senior Kennedy Leitner, 4-time SEC finalist. He knows how to run in the SEC.
Well, he certainly does, and he's on this everlasting quest to break that Kentucky school record. And you know who has it, Dwight? Lance Lang. Lance Lang's got it, and Kennedy Leitner would love to have it, but he just keeps chasing after it. I saw him run at the Drake Relays recently. The whole Kentucky squad did a great job in really cold conditions at the Drake Relays. Asked Lonnie Green, why do you go to Drake? And he says, one of my favorite meets. We get a lot of work in. We know how to win at Drake. But they're running against a lot of smaller schools. But Kennedy Leitner did a wonderful job on all the relays. There's Wanye McCoy. We got a chance to see him run indoors this season as well. But he pulled up in the 200-meter final. But he has gotten through that here. And you figure somebody like McCoy, he's got a target on his back, one of the fastest guys in the country. But Coach Holloway has got these guys feeling like there's less pressure to perform here at home. They're used to their surroundings and the environment here, and there's no reason to feel more pressure because you're at home.
McCoy was the SEC indoor 200-meter champion from the Bahamas. So the flag is pretty well down, hanging straight. The last couple of heats have been just barely over 0.0, not a lot of help. Leitner in 4, McCoy in 7.
Set.
Matthew Weaver of Alabama out there on the outside. McKay from LSU chasing, but here comes Wanye McCoy. Leitner's got some work to do. And also Malik Smith-Band also there. Here comes Leitner, but he's going to run out of real estate. It's going to be Wanye McCoy who eases up at the tape to take the victory and the automatic qualifying position. 20:45 with a minus 1.8. So he had a pretty stiff headwind that the flag did not indicate was going on at all.
Well, let's look at Wanye McCoy. Here he is, 3rd from the left. He's out there in lane 7. Look at this first 100 meters and how much control he really runs with. It's not till he comes off the turn that he's able just to stand up a little bit, open that stride, but still down the back straight. He almost looks as if he's holding back just a tiny bit. Kennedy Leitner really had to do a lot of work on the inside, and I don't think Wanye McCoy is limping at all. He just has it looks like he's just running under a little bit of control, but we did see him pull up. It was at the NCAA meet in the 200s with about 50 meters to go. But based on his times in the outdoor season, he's indicating that he is healthy.
Well, with 1 heat remaining, Kennedy Leitner is the bubble at 20:51. And currently Tennessee with no sprinters into the final, which you never would have predicted with the group that they have. But so far that is the case. And that race was run into a 1.8 meter headwind. That's the real problem with this kind of way of qualifying, is that sometimes you get a tailwind, sometimes you get a headwind. So, you know, it's a Tarsus Oregot sighting when you see socks like that. Second, the 200 meters NCAA Indoor Championships. This guy has got an amazing amount of potential and a good sense of humor as well.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time, ever since I started running. Yeah, I just keep wearing different animations, different styles that I feel like I want to express myself given the day.
A man after my own heart.
Yeah, I recall you expressing yourself in your choice of T-shirts back in the day. Yes.
I was always faithful to my Glendale High School socks, though. Couldn't jump without them. Couldn't clear my throat without them. Oregot of Alabama, the junior, he is going to be starting in the middle of this group in lane number 6. He has shown flashes of absolute brilliance, usually in the preliminaries, where we think, oh my gosh, you can't beat this guy. But you never know which Tarsus Oregot you're going to get in the final.
And you know how fast he's going because of how fast the wings on his socks are
flapping.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like a wind rating there.
Well, Coach Blaine Wiley at Alabama said he's still figuring out how to run the 200 meters. And I said, biggest difference from last year to this year? And he said, it's just race execution. He's understanding how to run the race a little bit better. They are constantly working on his start. And he knows he just, part of this whole race execution starts in the blocks, and it builds from there. But they're trying to create a better race execution pattern for him because of the inconsistencies he has shown over the last season.
Oregon is also easy to spot because of the headband. He's going to be right in the middle of the track.
Set.
Final heat of the 200 meters. If you don't win, you got to run under 20:51 if you want to run on Saturday. Tamars McCollum trying to stay with Oregot. Remember, Tennessee with no finalists. It is Oregot and McCollum chasing, but it's going to be Tarsus Oregot of Alabama winning the heat and automatically qualifying through to Saturday's final. 2018 into a 1.3 meter per second headwind, which is about 3 miles an hour in your face. You can feel that. And McCallum of Tennessee does qualify through on time, running 20:33.
Well, let's take a look at the wings on the socks. Are they flapping? It was Shavik Vasquez of Kentucky that got out really well on the outside, but take a look at Tarsus Oregot. He's got great arm action, good knee drive, and he runs this back straight like he was meant for it. And there you see Tamars McCallum on the inside. Going to be fun to talk about him. He's the fastest 100-meter runner in the fields at the SEC Championships, but Tarsus Oregot made it look easy.
So there are your advancers to final. It took 20:47 to make it into the final 9, with Taramba at 20:17 running the fastest, with Oregot just 100th of a second back, and he is downstairs with Fernando.
Well, guys, you know who's got the best looking socks on this track right now, right? Easily Tarsus. You got the fastest time in the qualifiers too, Tarsus.
Oh yeah, it is. I even didn't know that. I feel good. This race is all about like trying to get to the next round and focusing on using not as much energy because I have the 100 tomorrow, so I feel good with the performance.
You feel good about competing here? Because they said you were crazy about coming to the States to compete against the Americans.
Yeah, I'm so happy that I'm able to prove that I can compete at this level and dominate. So that's really pretty much what my mind is all about right now.
You got a double on you?
Yeah, yes, I got a double in me. I can't wait to do the 100 tomorrow.
So that means we'll get to chat to you or with you tomorrow and Saturday.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you Saturday then.
Thank you so much.
Back to you, Dwight.
All right, Fernando, we forgot to mention that Oregot is from Uganda, competing for Alabama, so he is going to be in Paris for representing his country this summer at the Olympic Games. All right, the men are done. Now it's time to focus on the women. There are 5 heats of the 200 on the women's side, and you've got to win the heat on the women's side as well to be an automatic qualifier as we look at the collegiate record by Abby Steiner, who's having a fine professional career in the 200. Favorite Ophelia has the meet record, and the collegiate leader is Jamisha Ford of South Carolina. She is in the field.